5 NBA draft prospects whose draft stock has fallen.
I keep saying that I'm coming, but I just keep leaving. It's like every time I experience cloud, I just flee. That's cause I got social issues.
Yo guys, what's going on? ModernHoops here, and I am back with a brand new video. So since everybody seems to be talking about the NBA draft lottery and the top draft prospects coming into the NBA this year, I decided to make a video about 5 NBA draft prospects whose draft stock has fallen, and some are more severe than others. And sometimes the player that we expect to be the #1 pick or an extremely high pick may not always happen, be it because of injury or how they performed during the season or the NCAA tournament, or whatever the case may be, but it caused their draft stock to go down. Also guys, it is almost summer and I think I only got about a week left, so expect a ton of more videos coming your way. My goal is to post about 3 to 2 videos a week. Also, we are on the grind for 10,000 subscribers, which is huge, and if you want to be a part of it, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell to stay notified when I post a video. But with all that out of the way, let's just hop right into it. So coming at #1 is Michael Porter Jr. So coming out of high school, Michael Porter Jr. was relatively known as the best high school player in the nation. He had a ton of upside, and people were comparing his scoring abilities to the likes of Kevin Durant, which is pretty insane. And he was even part of the McDonald's All-American team, and people had him to go as the #1 pick in this year's NBA draft class. But don't get me wrong, this man still has a ton of potential, but sadly, in his first college game against Iowa State, he suffered a back injury, which caused him to miss almost the whole entire season as a whole. He came back for 2 games, but he didn't really look good, and you could tell he wasn't 100%. And he was kind of rusty, and both games resulted in a loss. So because of his back injury, that caused him to go from potentially the #1 pick all the way down to the 5th or even the 8th pick in this year's NBA draft class. And a lot of the NBA scouts are still kind of iffy on him because of his whole back injury, and there are still a lot of unanswered questions about it, because the back injury can be pretty serious. But at his best, this man can do amazing things, but his back really caused his draft stock to go down. Now coming at #2 is Trae Young. Now Trae Young was probably the most sensational player to watch this college season. In the beginning of the season, this man was putting huge, eye-popping numbers like 30, 10, and 10. The man was just having an historic season, until everything just kind of collapsed during the second half of the season for Trae Young in the Oklahoma Sooners. He wasn't making shots at the percentage he was making them in the beginning of the season, and he was taking too many bad shots, and he turned the ball over a ton of times, and that cost his team, especially in the NCAA tournament when he had 6 turnovers in a loss. So he went from potentially a top 3 pick in the NBA draft to maybe the 8th or 9th pick. But the biggest knockoff NBA scouts had about Trae Young was his build. At 6'2", he's not really big, and he's a huge defensive liability, and he won't be able to get the types of shots he got in college in the NBA against great NBA defenders, and he won't be able to keep up with elite point guards like Kyrie, Curry, Westbrook, and John Wall, and more. So with his second half of the season meltdown and his performance in the NCAA tournament, and his build really caused his draft stock to go down. But personally, I still think this kid has a ton of potential. Now coming at #3 is LiAngelo Ball. So coming out of high school, LiAngelo Ball was one of the most known players in America and around the world due to his brothers, and especially LeVar Ball. He was one of the most anticipated players to watch in college, and because of his last name being Ball, he had a high chance of being a top 15 pick in this year's NBA draft class, until my man needed more clout and decided to steal a pair of Gucci sunglasses. And that, combined with dropping out of college and playing in a foreign league, which wasn't even that good, really hurt him to the point where he might not even get drafted. But still, since his last name is Ball, there is a high chance he might get drafted in the 2nd round. Also, another problem with LiAngelo Ball is that at 6'5", he's a really big buff guy, meaning he won't be able to keep up with guards in the NBA, and he's too short to be a power forward or a small forward. So LiAngelo has a lot of things going against him, and quitting college and going to play in the Lithuania League did not help his case out at all. Now coming at number 4 is Grayson Allen. Now last year as a sophomore for Duke, Grayson averaged 21 points on 46.6 shooting from the field and 41.7% shooting from the 3-point line, and coming into the college basketball season this year, he was the #1 player in college basketball. But this year hasn't really panned out well for Grayson Allen. His all-around numbers are down. He's only averaging 15 points, he's shooting only 39.8% from the floor, and his 3-point shot has also fallen off as well to just 33.3%. And with his temper and that whole tripping incident really hurt his draft stock this year. He might go as low as the 35th pick in the 2nd round in this year's NBA draft class. But what really hurt his draft stock was his dip in production from last season. But last but not least is Trevon Duval. Now coming into this season, Trevon Duval was expected to be one of the top elite point guards like Colin Sexton. But this season he's just really struggled, and as guys like Trae Young risen, he seemed to take a step backwards to the point where he might not even be a top 20 pick in this year's NBA draft class. He hasn't been the point guard everybody thought he could be. He turned the ball over a lot. He's not a great shooter, and he's not really an elite defender, but he has the tools, but he just doesn't show them. So at this point, the only way he could possibly bring his draft stock up is through the NBA Combine. And I mean, look, there is still a lot of hope, but he just needs a lot of more development, and I don't think he's ready for the NBA just yet. But with that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. Also, let me know down in the comment section below who's your favorite player coming into this year's NBA draft class. Also, don't forget, I will be posting a ton more videos in the coming week, so stay tuned for that. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe for more NBA content. We are on the grind for 10,000 subscribers. But with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you all later. Peace.